Max, we're going to talk about IELTS today, but before we dive into the specific components, like how you studied, could you go through what was your overall score, how did you study, when did you take it, all of this kind of like basic background information?
Sure. Hi everyone. I studied English for quite a long time and I got 8.0 overall.
Really good.
I took the exam last year.
Really good.
I had to do it in Turkey, in Istanbul, due to various reasons.
Yep.
And it was quite an experience.
Okay, so thank you, Max. And from now on, probably we can start talking about how you studied each component: reading, listening, writing, and speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of reading, how did you study for reading?
So, as I said, there are quite a lot of different texts in the internet that you can start with.
Yeah.
Because the format is quite simple. You need to read the text and sometimes fill in something or answer the questions, and I think it's quite easy job to do, but you just need some practice to do it quicker, because I think when it comes to reading, time is your greatest enemy, because you need to quickly find the information that is relevant.
Have you used any textbooks, like vocabulary books, grammar books, anything like this to improve your reading?
Yeah, there is just like Ielts reading textbook. I think if you feel, but I think that you need it only if you have some problems and struggles with reading, because all these books are quite expensive. So I think if you feel confident about it, I don't think that it's that much important. As I said, there are quite a lot of different sources that you can use to just practice.
Listening is, so first of all, like, have you taken IELTS? Like, there are two types of listenings, right? Like, either you do computer based or you actually like write paper based. Which exam did you take? Computer. So okay, you put the headphone and then you listen to the audio and just solve the questions. Okay. So could you just elaborate how did you study, like methods, tips, all of this kind of thing?
So by the time I was taking the exam, I already started, consuming media and movies, music in English. So I was quite confident that I can understand text, and I think that if you buy almost any English book of the level that you need, like C1, B2, usually some listening tasks are included, and again, I think reading and listening, in my opinion, maybe to you it's different. It's not the hardest part, so I don't think that you need to spend the most time on these particular parts. Just understand the format, practice your listening skill to get the information from what you listen to.
Before you took the IELTS exam, like, were you able to speak English quite fluently already right now, or like not that much, and then you have to study a lot?
Not that much, I think. I think speaking was my weakest point. So that's what I practiced the most. It's quite obvious that if you don't live in the environment where people speak English, it might be a bit challenging. Especially to break this block in your head sometimes when you just stagger and can't speak, when you ask something. So I think confidence has to do with it as well. So I asked my friend to practice with me. Just to constantly speak, and the more you speak, the more fluent you become. And as I said, I think it has a lot to do with just confidence. It's not about your knowledge sometimes, it's just about feeling that you can do that. And I think when it comes to speaking, the best way is to practice with someone who can just ask you some questions and have some conversations with.
How often have you had that kind of practice with your friends?
So each week definitely, sometimes even more often.
So the last part is writing, and for me, writing was the hardest. Like I struggled the most. I tried to follow the format and I took several exams, but like I struggled in writing the most. And then, like I would like to ask first, did you have that kind of experience? Like you had difficulties improving your writing skills?
Yeah, same. I think first of all, vocabulary. There is a special type of vocabulary that you can use, such as linking words or the words you start your sentences with. I think this is one of the most important parts, and it helps you structure your thoughts into paragraph of text that is going to be easy to read and look professional. So you need to memorize, these words like to sum up or like first, second, all this kind of stuff. If you do that, it will be a good first step. Then vocabulary just in general. I think that you don't need to go super deep into that, but when your writing has some, good vocabulary, sophisticated enough, I think it adds up to the impression. When the examiner is going to read your writing, they will have an impression that you know what you're talking about. You not just copying the format, but you actually know how to write and some vocabulary. I think that's important.
Okay. So have you ever prepared, for example, like they give very different topics, and then you have to, for example, make the argument about either you agree, disagree, all of this kind of thing. So like, have you done any specific things in terms of that preparation for the contents?
I think that again, like you can find some of the samples and examples in the internet, and I think what's important that you can time yourself. So
time is quite
yes. So you just randomly choose some topic in the internet and you just start writing and thinking about arguments for and against, or like something like that, and try to fit in like 10-15 minutes or something, so that you can be confident when you're in the exam as well, that you can do that quite easily and quite quickly, no matter what topic you need to speak about.
Do you have any last words for someone who is studying IELTS?
I would say that this exam is not the hardest. It's definitely, like, if you studied English for quite some time, I think it's completely doable. And don't feel scary. Everyone did that, and I think you need to be calm and confident. I think that's like this mentality. You need to have this mentality. Definitely. And when it comes to like sources, materials, I used, just to practice my English, I think like English grammar in use by Raymond Murphy was a good book. I think that's it, I think.
Okay, thank you so much, Max. So in terms of reading, are there any specific like methods, tips, how to take the exams?
I actually like the reading section. So I think what you need to do is they put a lot of word jumble in there, so you get kind of confused. So I think you should read the question first, definitely. Skim the paragraph, get the general gist of what they're saying, and then based on the question and the answers, if it's multiple choice, you can kind of scan the text to find the appropriate section.
Like try to find keywords, locate the keywords in the paragraph. I think
find what you're looking for, because there's there's going to be a particular section. I don't think you have to rush it, but time's always important.
And I think in most English exams, they don't expect you to know every vocabulary, but they want you to be able to understand the general idea of the paragraph without understanding all the vocabulary.
And if you have concentration problems, or maybe you're like panicking, so you forget stuff more easily. I remember I highlighted the stuff which I thought were important in the text.
It doesn't go as fast, right?
It doesn't go as fast, but the a lot of Japanese English exams, sometimes they read the sentences twice.
Yeah.
But IELTS, they read only once. So sometimes like it doesn't go crazy fast, but you have to be concentrated all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think listening is mostly practice. So like if you do that a couple of times, you'll be more accustomed.
Yeah. You get used to the format and stuff.
Yeah.
Should be alright.
Yeah.
The worst thing is like if you panic.
Yes,
like,
when you
lose everything.
Yeah,
Because,
that's why you need to take a deep breath before you start.
Yeah.
And I think just like even watching like movies and TV shows in that matter, it really helps.
Definitely.
Next is I guess writing.
Yeah.
Which I struggle the most, as I said.
Yeah.
Writing is always the hardest.
And it also has a specific structure on how they want you to organize the paragraphs. I think that's where I did bad.
Like
Organization.
Yeah. So like in my first like argument paragraph, I think I talked about the second one, and then in the second one I talked about the first one. So it was more mixed up writing. You have to really specifically practice Ielts method of writing.
Yeah, that's what I did as well. So before jump into writing, I kind of brainstormed what I'm gonna write, and then after I built like a solid logic in the structure, I started writing. I started writing. So yeah, that I think really helped.
Yeah.
I think people get stressed out in writing because you don't have a lot of time, so they just read the task and then they just start writing. But then you'll get stuck somewhere because you don't have a draft. You don't know where you're going. So I think it's important to allocate a time to like just write a rough draft, right?
Yeah.
I got a 6.5 in writing, but I did have this unfortunate circumstance where I get really stressed.
We did it in paper based.
Yeah, I did it in writing. I get really stressed out, so I started the writing and I finished my first essay, and then I noticed they give you two different papers.
Yeah.
I wrote the first task on the second task paper. I'm panicking.
Yeah. After you wrote all the paragraphs.
All the
everything,
paragraph.
right?
Yeah, I'm panicking. I'm looking at the time. There's no time. Like there's not
Terrible.
enough time. I'm really panicking. But I called an instructor over. I remember we had to speak in English, so that is a thing you're gonna have to do. But the instructor was really helpful. He was gonna give me a new paper, but there wasn't enough time to write it all over again. So he just told me to scribble the title where it says like task 1, task 2, and then he wrote a note down there like oh, we mix these up. Count this as if it's like task 1, and it worked out because I got a 6.5.
I really think like without that you can't score 6.5.
I think I would have gotten a 0. So like I think the instructors are really helpful, and they will assist you if you need help. Honestly, again, I was really nervous before I went into speaking, and if you're panicking, that always affects how you perform. I think it's a good idea to maybe practice with one of your friends speaking, because if you don't speak English like really regularly, it might be hard to answer some of the questions. So in speaking, I think what they want to know is if you can speak in a like fluent, like concise way. So it's important to be relaxed. They asked me if what I cook regularly, and I said I don't know how to cook. What do I don't know how to cook. And just say something is like what she said. I really panicked, but they don't actually want you to give them a recipe, So they just want to see how you deal with that. So I think just some speaking practice will do you a lot of good, right?
Definitely. So what specific contents you say doesn't matter. Like they just want to test your English ability. So like how you elaborate it and how you talk is much more important. And just like relaxing.
And it's very random questions. I think
Very
that's why you have to step in, calm down. What I did is I lied. It doesn't have to be true. So I just used like very easy words, and just lied throughout the whole thing.
You just have to yap.
You just have to babble. Like
I also did that too. Actually, like
I think
a bit of exaggeration,
Yeah.
lie.
Because and they like you can't just say 2 sentences and then stop because you know they're just gonna be like looking at you to continue. So you just have to just keep going a little bit.
So thank you so much.
No problem.
Really helpful. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.
Bye bye.